Hello viewers and potential subscribers, you are watching Unknown Emerald, and in this video I'll be showing you how I created those gorgeous looking wings from the show Murder Drones. This has been a passion project of mine for a very long time now, and I'm super excited to finally be able to share the results with you today. On the screen right now, I'm showing you some of the main materials that I've used throughout the making of this costume. Things like foam board, some metallic parts to keep the structure of the wings together without it breaking apart, and with all the introduction out of the way now, let's get on to step 1. I've seen a lot of people make those wings in the past, and I wanted to make them even larger than what was already attempted. In order to do that, I chose to use foam board for the large scaleness of it and also the lightweight of the material. It's very straightforward to cut with a scalpel, and I was able to use an A1 sheet to cut the largest wing part first and then work my way down as I scale it down to the smaller part. As you can see in the pictures, they have various sizes, so they have 8 different sizes of wings, so I started with the largest and worked my way down. Now, a single layer of foam would not be very strong and could snap quite easily, so to counter that I chose to add an extra layer of foam board on top of the one I already cut, but this time made it a little bit smaller than the other one so that when I stacked them on top, it added a little bit of 3Dness to the structure. So if I painted one of them black and the other one was silver, as you can see from the results, it looked quite nice. And now I'm faced with a huge problem. How am I going to add all those pieces together? And the solution? Foam PVC. It's a much stronger material than foam board is, and what it allowed me to do was to put every single wing blade on top of it and bolt it into place. So before I did that, I added a little bit of arrowite glue on top of the wing itself before sticking it down and bolting it into place. The bolt was just extra security in case under pressure the wing would fall out of place. Even though I've only been using foam as my main material so far, the weight has added up drastically, to the point where using a PVC pipe would not be enough to hold the wing upwards, so I had to change my material and I chose to use some aluminium instead. I used the Dremel tool to cut away the very end of the hollow aluminium bar and then drilled some holes on the other side. I also drilled some holes on a smaller piece of aluminium and then stacked them on top so I could create a joint as you can see in the video. I originally wanted to use some string in order to create a mechanism where I could open and close the wings myself, but due to the weight as mentioned before, I could no longer do that. So my next best option, and one that I was actually very happy with, was magnets. A few of those magnets will be attached to a piece of steel that's also attached to the smaller piece of aluminium. Now the other magnets will be attached to the large piece of aluminium, and as you see in the diagram, when they open, the magnets meet one another and they keep the wing up, and then just using a little bit of force I would be able to release the magnets and then make the wing fall down and let the gravity just have them sit on the side. Now I did not want the harness to be visible above the trench coat, so by placing it underneath, I had to use a metal plate with some bigger magnets this time around and place them on each of the corners of the metal plate. I did the same thing for the central part of the wings where they meet, so as you see in the video, I just pop them on whenever I want to and they can come off with a little bit of force, and that way I was able to hide the harness without it kind of flying around, and it made the costume look a lot nicer on the outside. Now that the skeleton of the wings was complete, the last step in the structure was to add the pieces of foam that's attached to the PVC foam on top of the aluminium bar. So I used an angle grinder to create a few pieces of metal that would hold the two pieces together. A little bit more drilling was required on the side of the aluminium bar as well as the PVC foam, and you'd think to yourself that foam would rip very easily when you put some holes into it with a drill. However, because of its plastic integrity, it was able to hold its strength very well. I would then use the pieces of aluminium that I cut with the angle grinder and use them to combine the two pieces together. One of the last things I had to do was cut a few more pieces of foam to cover the skeletal part of the wings and then paint everything one more time. Having black underneath the silver really makes it stand out, because when I added the silver on top of the black, I was able to use a tissue and then just by dabbing it slightly, reveal the black underneath, and it created a much more 3-dimensional effect to the wings and made them look a lot more realistic, which in this case made it look 10 times cooler. Now thank you all very much for making it to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed the showcase and I hope you learned something from watching the tutorial. I plan to make many more things down the line. Murder Drones and Digital Circus are just two of the things that I enjoy at the moment, and just because episode 9 is about to drop, I feel like I'm going to be making quite a few more Digital Circus costumes down the line, so do look forward to that. Thank you once again for watching. Make sure to like the video for the algorithm, subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys next time, so see you.